Is there a limit to how much you should forgive, or do you think love means being endlessly forgiving?
I can forgive with loving compassion, but I will not accept anyone that has deceived me back into my life. What's your opinion on taking breaks in a relationship?
You know, it can go two ways, but if you're needing to take a break and you can't resolve it within your relationship, that's a huge red flag.
Do you believe it's possible to truly love two people at the same time?
I do believe you can love two people at the same time.
I think it's very selfish for you to pull on the heartstrings or play with more than one person's heart.
Hi, everyone. Happy holidays for everyone who's starting the holidays and going forward in December. My name is Cassandra Ritter. I am with Astro Divas and Astrodipity, and this is Tasha Taremi. We're saying hello. I hope you're having a wonderful December so far. We have a lot of emails to go through, and we're going to start right now with one of them that we got from Evan. And so his email to Tasha and I were, Dear Astro Divas, what's your personal belief about forgiveness in relationships? Is there a limit to how much you should forgive, or do you think love means being endlessly forgiving? Have you ever had to forgive someone for something major, and how did it turn out? Thanks, Evan. What are your thoughts?
Well, certainly you dictate what you accept and what you don't in a relationship. And I think you should always forgive, because forgiveness is about you releasing yourself from a painful experience. But whether you should stay in a relationship is a personal choice. And for me, I can forgive with loving compassion, but I will not accept anyone that has deceived me back into my life. So it's a personal choice.
It really is a personal choice.
Yeah.
That's the best answer you can
Yeah.
get.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go on to the next one. Do breaks really work? It says, Hi, podcast. What's your opinion on taking breaks in a relationship? Do you think they're helpful for giving people clarity, or do they usually lead to breaking up for good? Have you ever taken a break with someone, and what happened? Best, Mia.
I would say if you're needing to take a break, you know, it can go two ways, but if you're needing to take a break and you can't resolve it within your relationship, that's a huge red flag. It does work for some people, though, you know, it gives them time, but it can be very, very hurtful to the other person. So it really can go both ways. It really depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I think you should try and resolve it together. Taking breaks, if you're living together, taking breaks, does that mean moving out? Does that mean going to stay somewhere else? I think if you're at that stage, it's not a good thing. It means you really, really have issues with communicating and resolving problems together. And that's something that, in order to have a healthy relationship, you need to be able to do.
And I think it depends on what was the relationship like. You know, is this somebody that was selfish, controlling, dominating, wanting to party? That's a person that wants to take a break because they want to mess around with other people. So
that's true too.
Be clear about what the excuse is for the break. If it is just somebody's going through a hard time and a lot of personal issues, that's something different. And also the length of the relationship too. If you've been with somebody 3 years, 4 years, they want to take a break, I would say make that permanent.
Yep.
See you in the next life. Yeah.
There's my Tasha. Do you believe timing plays a big role in relationships? Have you ever met someone who seemed perfect for you, but the timing wasn't right? I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether love can survive bad timing, Sophie.
Absolutely. When someone is meant for you, when you have a soulmate that's meant for you, you can meet that person when the timing isn't right, but the universe, God, will bring that person right back to you. So if you are meant to be with someone, you will be with that person. Remember that. That's my take on that.
I believe in divine timing as well.
Yeah.
I just do. Yeah.
All right. So the next one is, hi team, do you believe it's possible to truly love two people at the same time? How do you think someone should navigate that kind of situation? Have you ever experienced something like this? Thanks for sharing, Lila.
I do believe you can love two people at the same time. I do. It's sometimes unfortunate. I do believe that a lot of people in this world encounter that, and sometimes it has nothing to do. It's not because you're choosing to. I think your heart goes where it wants. I have known a couple that were in love with someone else at the same time, or one of the people in that couple was in love with two people at the same time, and they couldn't make a decision, and that was the sad part about it. However, I do believe that you can love more than one person at the exact same time. I really, really, really do.
I mean, I think you can, but I think it's very selfish for you to pull on the heartstrings or play with more than one person's heart. You shouldn't be playing with anyone's heart, but
Right.
when you have two people and you can't make a decision, think of the pain you're causing both people and yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is it me?
Yeah.
Sorry. What are your personal thoughts on prenuptial agreements? Do you think they're practical, or do they undermine the trust in a relationship? Would you consider one if you were in a serious relationship? Best, Jason. What are your thoughts?
So I don't believe in prenup. I believe in doing your vetting first initially, making sure that you're with someone that's in it not for money, but for love, someone that you can build with. And I feel like when I go into a union, I give everything. Everything that it's no longer mine, it's ours. So no, I don't believe in prenup. Like I said, do your vetting first.
I have to say, I understand you 100% because that's what I thought up until a year ago. And the only reason I've changed my opinion is because now I see. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that I do agree with prenups if someone is adamant about it. I am not the kind who would need one. I wouldn't want that. However, I've seen so many really, really great relationships, or at least you think they're great, only to end up in disaster and divorce down the road, and they're fighting over money. You see it all the time on social media as well. So, I mean, if you really love someone and your intent is to stay together in the first place, a prenup shouldn't bother you. Whereas
Right.
in the past, I would take it personally because that's going against, well, then you don't trust me. But now I've kind of changed, and that's really based on all the divorces and all the fighting that I see on social media and things like that. So it's really up to you, right?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. What number am I on? Oh, a 6. Okay. It says, "Hi, podcast. Do you believe there's only one true soulmate for each of us? Or do you think we're capable of finding love with multiple people throughout our lives? I'd love to hear your personal experiences or stories. Thanks, Emma." We have multiple soulmates. There are two types of soulmates. They either to teach you a lesson or they are to build. They're a part of your destiny. So yes, you have multiple soulmates. It's not a one and done reality. So like I said, yeah, you have two different soulmates, one to teach and one to build. So you'll know where you are on your journey. What lessons are you learning? Or is this someone that empowers you, inspires you, builds you up? That's how you know.
I agree.
That's short and sweet and to the point, but that's it.
Yeah. Dear Astro Divas, what's your take on the idea of living apart together? Some couples maintain separate homes but stay in committed relationships. Do you think this could be a healthy arrangement, or does it create unnecessary distance? Megan.
I think it's personal preference, but I don't see, to me, if you're in a committed relationship and you're living apart, um, how, what is that relationship? I mean,
Committed.
it's not really a relationship. It's, I don't know what that is. I don't
A
even know what to call
relationship
it.
is 1 + 1 = 2. That's a relationship.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. So I can't wrap my brain around that. So no, I don't even know what to say about that.
Right. Well, I think it can work, but I think, like Tasha said, it's based on personal preference. Yep.
Yeah. So the next one is, "Hi, podcast. How do you personally define compatibility? Do you think it's based on shared interests, values, or something deeper? Have you ever been in a relationship where compatibility wasn't enough to make it work? Thanks, Ryan. Well, if compatibility, okay. So first off, yes.
It's a big one.
Shared vision, shared goals, that does make you compatible. Definitely, I believe someone that is going to value you, honor you, respect you. But what's so weird about this is you can be compatible, but if somebody is in an unhealed state, they're going to do things from that wounded energy, and that's going to make it difficult for that relationship to work. So that really is an outside factor to the compatibility. So it just depends on where they are. Are they healed? Are they unhealed? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't think it's always based on shared interests or values or things like that. First of all, when you get together, you don't know what your shared interests or values are. You know a few of them. It takes time to understand that. You have to think of the things that made you interested in the first place. Obviously, something made you interested, and values. I'm not talking your personal belief system, but a lot of values and shared interests can change over time. So it's really dependent on a lot of things. And I think the core things should be respect. Respect is number one, above and beyond. Because if you respect the person, then you won't mind if their interests are different from yours in the first place, because you respect that person and what they love and enjoy. Then it's integrity, loyalty, so many things come into play. And that's when you find out if you're compatible. And I do think certain values are important, like your religion, your beliefs, that plays a role. And that's my thought. You can always make it work if you really want to.
Right. I agree. Am I up, or is it you?
You.
Okay. So, dear podcast, what's your opinion on staying friends with exes? Do you think it's healthy and mature, or does it create unnecessary complications in future relationships? Have you stayed friends with an ex, and how did it go? Thank you, Lucas. Absolutely not. There is absolutely no reason for you to stay friends with exes, unless you still have feelings that are hidden under the surface or in plain sight. There's absolutely no good reason for that. That's my opinion. That's it. Sticking to it.
I'm sorry, but I think I have to say no comment to this one, because I don't have an answer for this anymore. I did a few weeks ago. Now I'll take the next one. We'll let
Okay.
Tasha have the ending on that one.
Okay.
Is closure necessary? Do we really need closure to move on? Do you believe that closure is necessary to move on after a breakup, or do you think it's something we give ourselves? Have you ever found closure, or do you think some relationships end without it? Thanks for sharing, Tina. I think absolutely some end without having it. And those are the ones that you absolutely stay away from and don't even bother.
Yeah,
That's
well, you know, that
itself. It
a
really
lot of
is.
times toxic people will intentionally not give you closure because it's a way to keep you energetically tied to them. Never
Right.
wait for anyone to confess the truth, to be accountable, to be apologetic. Give yourself the closure. Forgive with love and compassion, and release that person from your energy, because to hold on to anger, bitterness, or resentment, you are feeding that person your energy, and you are keeping yourself bound. Set yourself free.
Right.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah. All right. Are dating apps good or bad for love? It says, what's your take on dating apps? Do you think they're helping people find meaningful connections? And are they making relationships more superficial? Have you or someone you know found love through an app? Thank you, Olivia.
I have to take the lead on this one.
Okay.
I think dating apps in general can be helpful, not the ones that are just for hooking up. It's good for people who aren't serious about commitment. I do think we have an amazing dating app that really helps to get you to meet someone who's more compatible with you because you put in your time of birth, your place of birth, your date of birth, obviously. I think that if you use them not based on the pictures, but not based on the interests either, but based on your zodiac chart and things like that, that you can find someone that literally is a soulmate. I believe in connecting people on a deep level. So I do think they can be helpful. But there are a lot of dating sites out there that I don't agree with, that I think are just for hooking up, that I think undermine who you are and are just out there literally for, one night stands or having fun or flings. And on that note, if you want something serious, you have to go to a more serious site. And there's not a lot of them out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I found Mark on a dating site, the love of my life. So, yeah.
The love of your life.
It is possible.
Yeah.
Let's see. So,
yeah. What's more important, love or respect? What's your personal take on love versus respect? Do you think a relationship can survive if there's love but a lack of respect? Or does respect always have to come first? Thank you, Maya.
Well, the definition of true love, if you look even in the Bible, it'll tell you respect is a part of that. And you can't have true love without respect. If someone claims to love you, but they don't respect you, that's not really love. So, no, it goes hand in hand.
I think you can't even love someone if you don't respect them. You wouldn't love them in the first place. I think respect, in my personal opinion, comes first. Respect for yourself, respect for them, respect for who they are as a person. You wouldn't even fall in love with someone if you didn't respect them. And I think respect is something that every single person deserves, period. And if you don't respect them, then don't be with them.
Right. Chances are, if they don't respect you, they don't respect themselves, and they have healing to do anyway. So
you wouldn't love someone you didn't respect in the first place.
No.
And if you don't respect them and you claim to love them, that's something else, because respect does come first, just as a human being from one person to another. It comes first. It's the very first thing that happens between two people.
I agree. Do you believe in ultimatums have a place in relationships? For example, is it okay to say, marry me or I'm leaving? Have you ever given or received an ultimatum, and how did it turn out? Thanks for your thoughts, Sophia. If you have to pressure someone or threaten someone to get them to marry you, then you are creating a perfect storm for resentment. That's how I feel. I don't feel like you should give any ultimatums. If you're not happy and you can't have a mature conversation that alters that situation, then you need to walk away.
What if you're doing it in fun? If you don't get your butt over here now.
Well, that's a joke. That's a joke. I don't think they're talking about a joke.
Yeah. But have you ever been given an ultimatum? You've never given someone an ultimatum in your whole life?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, I don't think I've been given an ultimatum, which I did. I was offended, absolutely offended, because to me, it's a lack of respect.
And it's pressuring someone to conform to what you want, and not having a lack of concern for what their thoughts, feelings, or views on whatever it is, right? So no. Yeah,
I don't respect you as a person. Yeah.
Right.
What's your opinion on large age gaps in relationships? Do you think they can work if both people are on the same page, or do they always lead to challenges? Have you ever been in a relationship with a significant age difference?
Well, it depends on if you're both healed and balanced. For example, if a woman is going to date an older man, a much older man, is it a daddy issue? Is there daddy wounding there? Do you know what I mean? That's what makes the difference. If it's truly two balanced people that are healed, absolutely, there shouldn't be an issue with age at all. Because, like I said, we have multiple soulmates. And when you come into contact with your soulmate, there could be an age difference.
Yep.
So it just depends on the situation. And like I said, are they healed? Or does somebody have a daddy issue?
Yeah. and it depends on what you both want out of life.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have a 40-year age gap. And honestly, if you're both on the same page, one is in it for certain reasons and the other one is in it because they want somebody so much younger, it can work. Is it the definition of love? I don't think so. Sometimes it could be more like a business transaction, but in many cases that works for other people.
Right.
Yeah. Is it okay to change for someone? Dear podcast, do you think it's healthy to change certain aspects of yourself to make a relationship work? Or should someone accept you exactly how you are? Have you ever made a big change for love? Thanks for sharing. Emma.
So I think if it depends on, is this like a bad habit, an addiction? Are you a heavy drinker and you've met someone, you've fallen in love, and this obviously is a red flag for the person that you're dating, and you want to be healthy or you want to be better for the relationship? Absolutely, I would agree with that.
Mhm.
However, if this person is trying to get you to change the way you wear your hair, the way you dress, absolutely not. So it depends on what it is.
100%. It's
Yeah.
dependent on what it is. But I think two people who go into a relationship in the first place end up changing for one another because it's just naturally something you do. Because at that point, you are not one, but you're one plus one coming together. And when you come together, you make changes naturally. It's the progression of a relationship. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to change who you are. However, you do make adjustments as to things you'd normally do, you'd cut out for the sake of your relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you believe love can truly last a lifetime, or do you think it evolves into something different as time goes on? Have you seen examples of love that stayed just as strong for decades? Best, Liam. Well, when you're in a healthy relationship and you love one another, you grow and evolve together. So the love changes, but it strengthens and it gets stronger over time. So, yes, I believe true divine love is eternal.
I
Yeah.
believe that no matter what, 100% of the time, your love goes from the romantic honeymoon phase to a choice. And love, you know the expression that love is a feeling. It's not, it's a feeling, and all feelings are fleeting, that you choose love. And from there you start growing. Because it's a feeling and not an action, that is something that you decide. So yeah, of course it's going to evolve over time. Then you make the decision how you guys are going to function together as a relationship. Are you going to grow together, buy a house together, establish a family, etc.? And that love becomes mutual respect, devotion, loyalty, etc. But that is a choice that happens after the romantic love, initial love feeling. That's what I think. And it can last a lifetime, but with work. And anybody who tells you it doesn't require work is not telling you the truth, because you're both going to change over a period of time. You're going to change over your lifetime. That's what I think. What is your stance on toxic positivity? What's your take on toxic positivity in relationships? For example, when a partner says, just stay positive instead of addressing real issues, do you think this can harm emotional intimacy?
That's
Well,
a avoidant personality disorder right there. That's somebody that's deflecting.
well, I can tell you right now, if we're in a relationship and you said to me, just stay positive, depending on your tone, we could either have an issue or not. If your tone is basically patronizing me, oh, just stay positive, like you're always negative kind of thing, that
Hmm.
would offend me. Um, it's not realistic to, yes, of course we should all try and stay positive, but it's not a realistic thing to say to someone without addressing the issue itself. Obviously,
Right,
there's an issue. So I would almost, that's like saying calm down or relax
right.
or
Chill out.
or chill out. Yeah, it's offensive. Right away, I'm offended. Yeah,
Right.
I feel it.
All right,
That's
the next one.
that one. Yeah.
Is jealousy normal or unhealthy? Hi, team. Do you believe jealousy is a natural part of relationships, or is it always a sign of insecurity? How do you think couples can handle jealousy in a healthy way? Thanks, Olivia. We're human. So every human on this planet may at times feel a tinge of jealousy.
Yep.
It's what you do with that energy. If you are reacting to that internal sensation of jealousy, you're reacting, then that's a deeper rooted issue. That would be insecurity. That's how I feel.
I think every human on this earth has insecurities. None of us are 100% not without flaws or insecurities. You could be Elon Musk and you've got some insecurities. We all have them. And I think jealousy is a fundamental little part of a relationship. Without jealousy at all, I would say, wow, it's not about trust, and you have to trust the other person. And without trust, you're not going to have a good relationship. I think a little bit of jealousy is healthy, because you want to protect what is wonderful between you. You want to protect that. You want to hang on to it. So I think it's as long as you're dealing with it correctly and it's not overboard and it's not someone trying to stop you from talking to your friends or going out with the girls or going out with the boys, things like that. I think a little bit of jealousy is actually quite healthy, but I mean a little bit. You just want to protect what you have. Those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Hi, Astro Divas. What's your take on relationships that lack physical intimacy? Do you think love can thrive purely on emotional connection, or does physical intimacy always play a crucial role?
I think it depends on if you're in agreement. So if both people are okay with having limited physical intimacy, then there's nothing wrong with that, because I feel like true love is not based on lust. It's a spiritual connection. It goes way deeper than lust. And so, yes, I do believe if two people are just not physically intimate regularly, yes, it can survive. I mean, it's not the core of the relationship, which is agape love.
Right. I
love that word.
100% agree with that on every level. I think there's many couples out there that survive without that because it's not their first immediate thing they need. They prefer just spending time together. You know, there's many forms of love. So yeah, I agree.
Right. Do you think couples should share everything? It says, hi, podcast. Do you believe couples should share absolutely everything, or are some secrets okay? For example, not sharing details about your past. Where do you draw the line between privacy and dishonesty? Thanks, Megan. Well, I feel like if it is pertinent to the relationship, it should be discussed. But I think that, you know, everyone's entitled. If they're already healed from a situation and it's not going to add value to your relationship, why bring it up? That's what I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
And exactly. If it has nothing to do with the relationship, there's no need to bring it up. Right.
Yeah.
I agree. What's your advice on mixed faith relationships? Do you think these kind of relationships can work? Have you ever seen examples where love overcame these challenges, or do you think it always creates conflict? Best regards, Alexia.
I think it's possible, but probably rare, because that's a big deal when we have two people that are on completely different spectrums. Like, for example, say someone was Hindu and the other person was Christian. It can cause conflict. So can it happen? Yes. But the odds are probably slimmer. That's my opinion.
And I have seen couples work through it, and two particular couples. I mean, it just became like, I have a friend in the past who actually converted for someone. She wasn't Jewish, but she converted. And Did they stay together though? No, they got divorced about 6 or 7 years later. But the fact is they did try. So can it happen? Yes. But like Tasha said, it's very rare they stay together, especially if they're really, really stern about their beliefs and there is no room for change there. You
Right.
know? Yeah. Okay. So do you think timing or efforts matter more? So the question is, do you think finding love is more about good timing or the effort two people put in? Can effort overcome bad timing, or does it always have to come down to luck?
It's not luck. Divine timing is at play. So you will meet your person when you're meant to meet them. And then it does require effort. Like you said earlier in one of the other emails, it requires effort. There is not like you meet someone and then poof, the rest of your life, you'll never argue. There will never be complications. No, there's growing and evolving and ascending and putting in a lot of work toward that relationship. It's an investment. It's a lifelong investment. You do your research when you invest your money, you're investing your heart, which is far more valuable than any money.
That was beautifully said. There's nothing I can add to that. It's an investment. So
Yeah.
true.
Do you believe people are meant to be? Do you believe in fate or destiny in relationships? Do you think some people are truly meant to be together no matter what? Or is love a choice we make? Thanks, Ryan. So I already talked about this in the previous email.
Right.
Yeah, you have free will, but I definitely feel like you have predestined soul connections. Whether you say yes to those predestined soul connections that are in this reality is up to you 100%. So I hope that makes sense in what I just said about that. But
Yeah, I believe I might have not felt this way most years of my life, but I believe you're destined to meet certain people to either help you heal, to help you grow, to help you find out what you do want, what you don't want. I absolutely believe in that. Um, but love, when it comes down to it, love is a choice. You choose, excuse me, everyone, you choose to either continue and keep the investment going or not to. But something Tasha had said before, you should never play with people's emotions. So if it's not something, you don't need 5 months or 1 year to determine whether this person is a good fit for you or not. You should know that kind of early, and so you don't hurt the other person. That's all I have to say.
right.
What's more important, chemistry or friendship? Do you believe chemistry is more important than friendship in a romantic relationship? Or can a strong friendship sustain love without intense chemistry? Beth Lila.
Well, I think the intense chemistry comes in the initial meeting of someone that never sustains. So you can't really compare that. I think friendship is important, and chemistry doesn't have to be intense chemistry, but obviously you do have to have some sort of attraction to the person. But when she's saying intense chemistry, to me, that reminds me of the initial meeting of someone when it's exciting, and that doesn't last. That doesn't last for years and years and years. It's just the initial 6 months,
It's
year
just
maybe.
it's just your
Yeah.
hormones and what's going on in your brain. But
Yeah.
I do think chemistry, that word chemistry, like I mean, you're not going to have it with the 10 people in the room. Let's say you're in a room with 10 people. You're not going to have chemistry with 10 people. Hopefully there's one person, if this is what you're looking for, there's one person in that room you're going to feel a connection with, which is chemistry to me. Both are hand in hand. The chemistry is important because if it's just friendship, if all you feel is friendship, then there is no warm, fuzzy feelings inside that person is the only person you'd want to be with. You'd have that with everybody. I think friendship gets developed over time. I don't think it goes the other way. So, example, if you're friends with someone right now, is there a chance you're going to end up with a lot of chemistry 6 months, a year from now, and decide, oh, we should start dating? I don't think that happens often. But I do think having chemistry first And then this deep friendship comes out of it. I think that happens a lot more often. And yeah, I think chemistry is very important, but
Yeah.
it doesn't last. I mean, it does last. It lasts to a certain degree, that person is the only one you have this intense feeling for. That's the only person you want to, establish all these things with. So there is a bit of a difference there. Let's go on to the next one. Do
Okay.
you think couples should have shared hobbies? Hi, Astro Divas. How important do you think it is for couples to share hobbies and interests? Can a relationship work when partners enjoy completely different activities? Thanks, Megan.
I think it's a perk if you share interests and hobbies. I think it's amazing, but it's not a mandatory thing. As
Exactly.
long as there is respect, mutual respect for what you do have an interest in, it can work just fine. But I think it's a perk. It's an added perk if you do have the same interest.
I think so too. It's just something that's extra. Extra. It's like dessert.
Does your love language really matter? Hi, podcast. Do you believe love languages are the key to a successful relationship, or do they overcomplicate things? How do you personally use your love language in your relationships? Thank you for your perspective, Jason. Well, I think that's the same thing as how you express yourself romantically. So, are you loving? Are you affection? Are you touchy feely? Are you more expressive? You call it what you will, but I think it's just when you get to know someone, I think it is important because you want that to make that person feel loved. And if you have the awareness that this is someone that is very that needs the physical touch, then you're going to express yourself in a way that aligns with a way they understand that you love them. Does that make sense? Kind of sounds like I went around the bush on that one, but you know what I'm saying.
It made a lot of sense. Yeah, of
Okay.
course, you attempt to make that other person happy because you do love them, because you do respect them, because you want them to
Yeah.
be happy. Sometimes you don't get it right away from the beginning, that they prefer to be touchy-feely, or that sometimes it takes a while to understand what makes them feel good and adored and all of those things. Sometimes it takes a conversation, not always. And sometimes you both have the same love language, but a lot of times you find that out, as the relationship progresses, and you want to make that person happy by
Yeah.
being touchy-feely, gift-giving, acts of service, quality time. And hopefully you love all 5 love languages because they are important.
Right.
What's your advice on moving on? What is your personal advice for letting go of someone you love? Do you think time heals all wounds, or is there more to it?
You want me to take this?
Sure.
Okay. So, my advice on letting go of someone that you love, you can love someone, but if it's not reciprocated in a healthy way, then you need to release that person. It doesn't mean that you don't love them anymore. It just means they're not healthy. They don't add value to your life. And do I believe that time heals all wounds? No, not without work. You have to address why you called in this experience. What did you need to learn? And to be able to release that, you're going to remember the experience, you're going to remember the lesson, but you are going to release any emotional attachment to that lesson so that you can free yourself. So, does time on itself? No, you have to put effort into healing. It's not magic. It doesn't just poof go away. You have to put in the work.
I think it's really hard to let go of someone you love. Obviously, it's because you love them that makes it so hard to let go. It's one of the hardest things you can do in your lifetime. Obviously, the reasons why you have to let go are very, very important. If the reason for letting go is to benefit yourself and your personal growth, then it's something you have to do, and you have to be very, very aware of all of that, and that it's for the betterment of yourself, because obviously something just did not work. And it's a grieving process. Letting go is grief, and everybody grieves differently. And how you get to the other side is something you really, really have to work on, and you have to be okay with feeling it. Everybody takes different lengths of time. Some people reach out for help, whether it's a psychologist, psychiatrist, friends, doing something, a hobby, taking on a new hobby or things like that. There's many, many little ways that you can help yourself get through that letting go process if it's something you definitely have to do. I do think over time that, all time heals all wounds. It doesn't heal, like Tasha said, in the sense it changes you, but I do feel the grief changes, the grief stage, the grief process changes, and you get to a point where you accept it, and it no longer is paralyzing you anymore, because that's usually the first stage. So I do think time is a big factor that everybody could take three months. It could take 3 years. It's very dependent on who you are and how you handle things. But that's a great time for you to grow and work on yourself. It's a great opportunity for you. I know we don't see it that way when we're in it, but if you can get to that point where you can use it as personal growth, you can really do a lot with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What's your take on the idea of right person, wrong time? Do you think people can reconnect later, or is it better to move on and let go?
It happened to me. I met Mark in January. It wasn't right time, right person, but it wasn't the right time. Then I reconnected with him that same year in September. So
I did not know
absolutely.
that.
Yep. I met him
know
on one app in January and then on a different app in September. So yes, if you're meant to be with someone, I'm telling you, the universe will conspire to put that person back in your path. You will not be rid of them so easy. So yeah.
I wonder if that's a good thing. No, I'm joking.
It was the best thing that ever happened to me.
What are you doing to all of us?
It was pretty awesome. I mean, yes, I thought it was pretty neat that
beautiful love story you guys
it's
have.
like, yeah, if you miss an opportunity, don't worry, it'll come back around to you, whether it's a person, place, or thing. Don't worry, it'll come back around if it's meant to be. So that's pretty amazing. All right, so the next one is being single. Is being single underrated? What's your perspective on being single? Do you think it's necessary part of personal growth, or is it natural to want to be in a relationship? Thanks for your thoughts, Maya.
May I?
Yes, of course.
I don't think it's natural to be alone in life. I know a lot of people disagree. I think it's much better for everyone to have someone or something, could be a pet too, but someone to love. I think it's not a necessity. However, I don't think it's healthy for someone to be alone too much in their life. I think relationships are a very, very important part of life. Being single, a lot of people get very content with being single because it's just, that's what they do. But I think down the road, it's something that leads to a lot of regret as you age, as you go into, as you become a senior, let's say, and things like that. And it could lead to things like depression and other things, because I think it's only natural to want to love someone and want to be loved back. I think it's a very natural process, and your life is easier for it. That's what I believe and would want. Yeah. I only want people to find love or have love. Of course you can have it with family and friends. It's not the same thing as having someone to go to share your ups and your downs with, your ride or die person. It's just not the same thing. People say, and I did want to say something. I was thinking about this 2 days ago. So many people, and I know people who have said this to me in the past, and it's not my belief. That's all. They have said, "Oh, your friends will always be there, but the person in your life, they won't." You always keep your friends close. Your friends are the most important because those people. I disagree with that point so much. You have no idea, because I think friends come and go more often than they just do, than the person that you've had that relationship with. If it's, of course, I don't mean someone you've just dated. I mean an actual relationship with. And
Yeah.
that's why relationships are hard to get over, because they are. You are invested. You've got everything into that relationship. Do you put all that into a friendship? I wouldn't, because friends can change on a dime. Not to say that makes them, a good or bad friend, but the reality is, if you're growing, or if you're changing who you are, where you live, your friendships are going to change. The person you're
Right.
with, hopefully, is not. They're going to change with you, grow with you. So that's what I think on that.
No, I agree totally on that one. So the last one is, do you believe closure is necessary for a breakup, or do you think we create closure for ourselves? Have you ever found closure in an unexpected way? Thank you, Lucas. We are actually already touched on this,
Yes.
and you should find your own closure. You shouldn't be waiting for anyone to give you an apology, to be accountable. You shouldn't seek validation. You know what happened to you. You know what you need to do to take care of it, to heal it, and you need to just release with love and compassion to set yourself free.
That's what we should all do. Is
Yeah.
that natural, though? Or do a lot of people need closure?
It well, it depends on your wounding. If you have an abandonment wound that you haven't addressed, you're going to hold on for dear life waiting for that closure, because the rejection is so painful. It is just blaring and it's in your face, and it's a constant reminder. The pain is just magnified day in and day out. But instead of looking outside of yourself, if you look within and say, I have this wound, and I'm going to focus all my time, attention, and energy on really diving deep into the root of this issue and healing it, that is going to help you to find closure.
I agree.
Yeah.
On that note, everybody, the whole idea is, hopefully, we would like to be a part of helping you find love, and find love on our app, which is, so you can put in your date of birth and things like that. And then you find out, obviously, you probably know your star sign already, which is your primary sun sign or zodiac sign, whatever you want to call it. And then your rising and your Mars. And then you get to know yourself on our app, and you get to know the other person. And the goal is, I'm hoping that for Christmas, most people can find love, or at least the start of love. And for everybody out there, we will be joining next week. And then after that, taking the following week off, to celebrate our own personal holiday. So for now, for the people that are starting, happy holidays. And I'm going to say bye from Cass. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have an awesome week.